We are going to get started. My name is Greta Zaro. I'm the organizing director with World Beyond War. And I'm so excited to welcome you tonight for this celebration of the International Day of Peace. I'm wearing my blue scarf to represent the Blue Scarf Peace Movement on this day of celebrating the International Day of Peace. And so we have a wonderful program tonight, about an hour and a half of speakers and music. And thank you so much to Phil Anderson and to all of the volunteers who have put together today's amazing lineup. So if you are a participant, you are muted and you will have the chance to use the chat box throughout this webinar to put comments and questions and ideas, whatever you want. Introduce yourself in the chat box and use that throughout this webinar. And we do recommend that you watch this webinar in speaker view, in full screen speaker view, so you can get the full experience. And with that, we will get started with a song.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Live together, love forever. It's the only thing we can do. I'll be saying we're gonna make it through. Oh, yeah.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Afrikan, Amerikan, de man är på Don Ben. Asian, Européen, de man är på Don Ben. Salut, salam, shalom, salut, salam, shalom. Noir ou blanc, rouge ou jaune. Nie pe bokiem, nie pe yale, nie bon. Nie pe bokiem, nie pe yale, nie sac. Nie pe bokiem, nie pe tomada ma.
Freedom
Freedom
and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you hear it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Welcome to a celebration in music. Thank you for joining us this evening to observe the United Nations International Day of Peace. This year's theme is Shaping Peace Together. I'm Dorothy Walden with the Northland chapter of Grandmothers for Peace. We just heard part of the song A Better Place, performed by Playing for Change, Songs Around the World. The song suggests if we feel it in the music, we can make the world a better place. It is in this spirit that we come together tonight to listen to some great music, think about what shaping peace together means, and how we can work together to build a better, more peaceful world. Tonight's program will include musicians from the Twin Ports area, Duluth, Minnesota, and Superior, Wisconsin, Boston, Massachusetts, and around the world. A special highlight will be the Kresnov family from Petrozavodsk, Russia, which is one of Duluth's sister cities. Brooks Anderson will take us on a tour of the new Duluth Peace Walk. In this new era of social distancing, we may not be able to stand together physically, but we can stand together in spirit, learn from each other, and continue the work of promoting peace and justice.
Tonight's program is sponsored by Duluth Sister Cities International, Duluth Area Chapter of Vets for Peace, the Northland Chapter of Grandmothers for Peace, and the newly formed Upper Midwest Chapter of World Beyond War. I'm Penny Cragen. I'm a member of Grandmothers for Peace, and I'm also a member of the new Upper Midwest Chapter of World Beyond War. We wish to thank the wonderful musicians who have volunteered to share their music with us. You can find links to their websites, music, and CDs in the musicians and sponsors document that will be posted in the chat section. Also provided is information on our sponsoring organizations. We encourage you to support these artists and organizations. Special thanks goes to World Beyond War for providing the Zoom access to make this program possible, and to Greta Zaro, U.S. Organizing Director, for providing Zoom technical assistance.
Everyone wants peace, but how do we build peace in a troubled world? How do we overcome the suspicion, the racism, the inequality, the poverty, and the fear that leads to conflict? Peace is not the absence of conflict. Rather, it's learning to resolve conflicts by peaceful means. People can shape peace together through many paths, but these paths have one thing in common, and that is real, authentic, human connection. When we form bonds with people from other cultures, other religions, other ways of life, we very profoundly understand that we are more alike than different. We share the same simple aspirations, we laugh at the same things, we all just want what's best for our families and our communities. When we form those real personal bonds, that's when the walls of fear and division crumble, and that's when we set the stage for peace. It's such a simple idea, right? Peace through personal connection. But that profoundly simple idea is the premise of the entire Sister Cities movement. This movement was launched by Eisenhower in the 1950s, and it's going strong to this day. The mission is simply to promote peace through mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation, one individual, one community at a time. In our community, over the last 35 years, thousands of individuals have formed lifelong connections and friendships with people in our sister cities in Russia, Sweden, Canada, Iraq, and Japan. These connections are now permanently woven into the fabric of Duluth, and they make us a stronger, more resilient, more peaceful community. Since we're talking about human connection, there is perhaps no language of connection more powerful than music. It's universal, and it brings people together. Therefore, it's my pleasure to introduce the Krasnov family, Igor, Zhenya, and Sasha, who greet us from across 8 time zones from Duluth's sister city of Petrozavodsk, Russia, to share a few songs and thoughts with us. The stage is yours.
Зорька алая, губы алые, а в глазах твоих небо синь, ты любовь моя, долгожданная. Не покинь меня, не покинь меня, не покинь. Ты любовь моя, долгожданная. Не покинь меня, не покинь меня, не покинь. По плечам твоим с белым колосом вьются волосы, только голову запрокинь своей гордостью, своим голосом. Не покинь меня, не покинь меня.
меня не покинь. Своей гордостью, своим голосом не покинь меня, не покинь меня, не покинь. Всех красивее, всех дороже мне стала ты, даже капелькой своей нежности не остынь. Через сотни лет, через тысячи, не покинь меня, не покинь меня, не покинь. Через сотни лет, через тысячи, не покинь меня, не покинь меня, не покинь. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. Nowhere belongs. Birds on the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
The story of our family is in many ways the story of grassroots diplomacy, and dare we say a real success story. We have received education in the US, worked in the US, and most importantly, made lifelong friends in the US. So we know firsthand that there is nothing more powerful than human contact in ensuring peace.
People don't usually shoot at people they personally know and like. They also don't tend to vote for those who call for the shooting to start. In this way, peace is a direct product of our shared experience. The more such experiences we can create, the better our chances of ensuring lasting peace between our peoples.
We thank you for starting this mission and for continuing it for all these years despite so many challenges. It so happens that right now may be the most trying time for these relations since their founding, and we can't fault anyone for sometimes giving up on them in frustration.
But we are hopeful that enough of us keep these connections alive because we know that a better world is possible. We owe it to the yet-to-be-created friends and families that stand to grow out of our relationship. In the words of the great Bryan Adams, we can't stop this thing we started. Thank you for everything you've done. And here's to world peace.
Education is another path to peace. When we travel, meet people from other cultures, eat different foods, or learn new songs, we shape peace together. Mark Twain said, "Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth, all one's lifetime."
How do we achieve peace? Peace is possible. Working for peace is not a utopian dream. In fact, humankind has come a long way towards achieving peace. Arms control treaties, international agreements, like the Geneva Conventions, institutions like the United Nations, and the World Court. These are examples of that type of progress. More nations do not engage in war than do. Most wars are caused by only a few nations. Shaping peace together involves continuing this progress and building a culture of peace. World Beyond War says on its website that war is a learned activity. Modern war does not just happen. Nations spend decades preparing for war by building weapons, planning strategies, training soldiers, and convincing their own people that their neighbors are enemies. Peace will require a long-term effort to build a culture of peace. We can learn to live in peace. World Beyond War has detailed realistic plans to build a more peaceful world. The plan would replace the current militarized world security system with an alternative demilitarized shared system in managing conflict. The plan is explained on the World Beyond War website. Check it out. It's also in a book entitled A Global Security System, an Alternative to War. Check that out. Bobby Darin wrote A Simple Song of Freedom in 1969. A pop music singer, he was compelled to speak out against the Vietnam War. Pat Scanlon was in Vietnam in the Army at the time. Pat is a member of Veterans for Peace in Boston and uses his music to stand up for peace and justice. Pat has updated the lyrics and tempo of the original song. You can download and share it for free at patscanlonmusic.com. We invite you to sing along from home.
Come and sing a simple song of freedom. Sing it like you've never sung before. Oh, let it fill the air. Tell the people everywhere. We the people here don't want a war. 700 million, are you listening? It's hard to find the truth among the lies. Speaking one-to-one, ain't it everybody's son to wake to in the morning when we rise? Some folks enjoy doing battle, like presidents, prime ministers, and kings. Let us build them shells so they can fight amongst themselves. Leave the people be who want to sing. Come and sing a simple song of freedom. Sing it like you've never sung before. Let it fill the air, tell the people everywhere. We the people here don't want war. Hey there, Mr. Black Man, can you hear me? I don't want to play any games. Well, I just want to be someone known to you as me. I would bet my life you want the same. And hey, my gay brothers and sisters, equality is the name of the game. Well, I will stand with you, and before this day is through, all our legal rights will be the same. Come and sing a simple song of freedom. Sing it like you've never sung before. Oh, let it fill the air, tell the people everywhere. We the people here don't want a war. Now's the time our leaders ought to listen. Hear what the people have to say. Human needs come first, just satisfy that thirst. We will have a peaceful world someday. Come and walk with me, for we are brothers and sisters, side by side, walking hand in hand. And if you sing with me, together we will see this song of peace ring throughout the land. Come and sing a simple song of freedom. Sing it like you've never sung before. Oh, let it fill the air, tell the people everywhere. We the people here don't want a war. Oh, let it fill the air, tell the people everywhere. We the people here don't want a war.
Another path to peace is the newly established Duluth Peace Walk. The Peace Walk connects monuments and other sites in downtown Duluth dedicated to peace and justice. The visitor will be challenged to remember where we've come from, learn from our shared history, and find ways for shaping peace together. Brooks Anderson, founder of the project, will lead us on a virtual guided tour of the walk.
My name is Brooks Anderson. I'm a longtime Duluth peace activist. And some of us have been working on a project, I would say in recent years, but we're hoping that it's coming to a head now. And it goes under the name Duluth, the Peacemaking City. And we're saying we have a story to tell, a big story to tell. And that is that we've done some incredible things. And that gives us a new identity. The way we tell a story is to do a walk, and we call it the Peacemaking Walk. But behind that is the idea that Duluth is on its way to being a very important peacemaking city. This walk has 7 or 8 stops, and it's just off the lake walk, and it's on the raised platform park that's over the freeway. used to be called Lake Place Park, and now it's Gitche Ode Akin. And that's important, and we'll come back to it. So let's start this walk. And it's a virtual walk, so we can start wherever we want to. Right at the heart of this park is and this will be stop number 7, but we'll start there anyway. And it's called the Arising, many hands lifting the dove of peace. And we would say that that's a defining centerpiece for our city. This is describing the personality of our city. And many people doing many kinds of tasks, but all centering on a peacemaking mission. So that's our starting place. So all of these stories that I'm going to be telling, they all sort of say, we did something 50 years ago, we did something 30 years ago, we did something 15 years ago. And because that happened, because of the citizens' initiative, Duluth is a different place. So we'll start the walk, and stop number 1 is along the lake walk. We would have the choice of going up over the top of this park or along the lake walk, where we come to a series of 3 memorials. One is to the Korean War, the other is to the Vietnam War, and in between is an anchor of the USS Duluth. These 2 wars produced a lot of peacemaking. We have a very active chapter in Duluth of Veterans for Peace. Each of these memorials is, I would say, a la the Vietnam Wall in DC. It is a place to read names and honor the people who have died in these wars. And I think very respectful kinds of monuments. I think this first stop is in some ways the most important one. We need to find ways that more such memorials don't need to be created. It seems like we are perpetually at war, and something must be done about that. Rather than focus on either of these memorials, I'd like to stop between at this anchor and tell a story. When Governor Carlson was leaving office in, I think, 1999, he wanted to leave a legacy of honoring veterans, and he proposed that the USS Des Moines, a heavy cruiser, I believe it was, be stationed in the Duluth Harbor as a memorial. And everybody seemed to want it. The Chamber of Commerce wanted it, the mayor wanted it, lots of downtown people wanted it. But there were many who opposed it, and so that conversation went on. There came a time when there was an important vote to be taken by the city council, and the council was divided on the issue. And that vote, I think, would have been in '99. And Tom Morgan organized a group of combat veterans, most of them high-profile people that you knew, leaders in the community, but you didn't know them as veterans. And he persuaded them to come and tell their story. And it was a dramatic evening, and people would say, would tell their stories, maybe World War II, maybe Vietnam, and talk about the gruesome things they had experienced, and said, don't do this in my name. Please don't do this in my name. I remember one man saying, I fought in World War II, and I'll tell you some of the ugliness I saw. He said, but I didn't do that so that I could drive over the hill into this city I love and see a large warship in our bay. And another line I remember is, don't do anything that glorifies war. And the vote was against supporting this. And I suspect that was a key part of the reason we don't have the Des Moines in our harbor. And you can say, and Duluth is a very different place because of that. Stop number 2 would be just up the ramp a little bit, where there are, I think, 4 different sister city monuments. We have 5 sister cities. And so we organized what we called the Soviet Sister City Project. We did a lot of educating of ourselves and looking for a potential sister city and ways to proceed with this. And in 1986, we had picked Petrozavodsk and put together a first delegation of 31 people, a big cross-section of the city. And said, we will go to Petrozavodsk and we will ask them to be our sister city. And we went there, and it was a very powerful experience. And I very much had the sense then, Duluth will never be the same because of this. And hundreds of people have been impacted by that relationship. And it has been very powerful and continues to this day. There are those kind of stories in all of our sister city relationship. In fact, one of the places you ought to go to really experience the power of our relationship with Ohara Otsumi City would be up to near Anger Tower, the Peace Garden up there. And there you get a feel for how much that means to them, how much they've put into this memorial. We had a sister city delegation here from Ohara not too long ago, and they took this peace walk that we are now doing virtually, and it felt really powerful. And I think maybe it was the beginning of a conversation with them. We've also done that peace walk with a Swedish delegation from Växjö, and in that case, they openly said, we need to go home and do the same thing. We need to find a way to make this sister city relationship a stronger peacemaking venture. And so that's stop number 2. And I say there could be dozens and dozens of stories of people whose lives have been impacted by a visit. I hope we can make that a part of the future, that we talk about how can this 5-way relationship, how can we together be stronger as peacemakers? So that's stop number 2. Number 3, we just sort of walk by. There's a sunken area up on the top, and that's the place that a year and a half ago, the place was renamed Gichi Ode Akin. And that's the time when the Native American community said, this whole area is important to us. This used to be a little portage. This is sacred ground. And that lake we're looking at over is a powerful spiritual force. That's the importance of this name. And now our Native friends are saying to us, we're ready to be more visible. We're ready to engage a conversation, and hope that conversation, and expect it will include peacemaking. Number 4, we leave the park for a little bit, and we go out to Superior Street, down to the end of the street, and there is the Building for Nonviolence. And in that is the Domestic Abuse Intervention Program. We walk up 2 flights of stairs, and we sit in their training room, and that training room looks out over the park that we have just walked through, and we'll be going back to. And that's a dramatic story. In fact, that's the place where this idea that we have a story to tell, and we better be telling it. We are big news all over the world. This innovative program of an integrated way to deal with the scourge of domestic violence. Thousands of people have sat in that training room and learned about the Duluth model. Thousands of people have taken trainings in other cities. So it's known all over the world as one of the beginning places where we really addressed this huge problem. we'll go back down those 2 flights of stairs, across Superior Street, and up to First Street and the Clayton Jackson McGee Memorial. And there again, Duluth was innovative. This is the first such memorial, a memorial to a lynching. And 100 years ago, 3 young black men were lynched for false charges brought against them. A very ugly stain on the life of Duluth. But one we have faced and dealt with. 91, Craig Grau, university professor, discovered that these men were buried without any marker at Park Hill Cemetery and arranged for a marker to be given. We had a book written about that. Michael Fido wrote a book, and soon it was picked up by the NAACP, and with great leadership, they raised money, and this, I believe the monument was in 2003. It was correct. Anyway, about that, we have a monument, and it was the first such monument in the United States. There are other placards and markers. Lynching was just a tool of suppression, and we, in recent days, are discovering nationally, we're discovering how deep racism runs. But Duluth has been working on that in recent years, and has this place. And now that's a story we need to be telling to ourselves and to the world. We've got a story to tell, and in this day of Black Lives Matter, we maybe at least have a little bit of a lead in understanding that racism runs very, very deep, and we ought to understanding into the life of our city. Okay, now we would come back, and we come back to the park, and maybe make a swing by the city jail where these men were hauled out of to be hanged, and come back into the park and go very close to where we started. We started at the Arising statue. Right next to it is another peace bell, and this is a peace bell that is a part of the anti-gun violence movement. And we have a very dynamic program in Duluth because of 2 very dynamic women who had experienced deep personal tragedy through gun violence, Mary Strufert and Joan Peterson. Their passion, their charisma, and just unceasing work in this area has put Duluth on the map for many people on this issue. It's they have ceremonies there where the bell is rung, naming the people who have died from gun violence. And now we're back to number 7, which is the Arising statue. And I said we think that depicts the personality of our city, but it's many hands and many different programs that all come together. And it's a time when I like to quote Martin Luther King. Exactly 1 year before he died, April 4th, 1967, he gave one of the most important, and I think the most neglected, speeches of his illustrious life and career. And it was called Beyond Vietnam. For many of us, that talk helped us make connections. He talked about the giant triplets of racism, materialism, and militarism. And I think had King been alive for many more years, he would have added some of the other ugly isms. But particularly, he brought into our vocabulary the word militarism and said we ought to be saying that word and acknowledging that we have become very militaristic. And, put that together with the things we've experienced on the walk, gun violence, racial violence, domestic violence, and war making. They're all one issue. They're all a part of a culture of violence. And we have to go at that maybe one city at a time, one issue at a time, and continue to raise the issue, but not be afraid to speak the word militarism. We said in our first visit to the war monuments that's maybe the most important. If we don't bring that phrase, that word into our language, we're not really dealing with the issue. Just beyond where the rising statue is, there's a place called the Sister City Park, and it's really designed to be a contemplative place, a place to sit and maybe we ought to do that. We ought to go to that place and sit and contemplate and what we've just experienced, and then try to vision a new kind of world. How can we get there? What do we need to do to become a place that really confronts the culture of violence and makes us a peacemaking people? I think that's our task, is to vision a new kind of world and then decide to go to work to make it happen. Thank you.
Bonjour, I'm Babette Salmon. I'm from the White Earth Band of Ojibwe, White Earth Nation. I live in Duluth. I'm a community elder and I'm the chair of the Duluth Indigenous Commission. The slogan, "No justice, no peace," reflects the thinking of a variety of people, including Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., Pope John Paul II, Frederick Douglass, Jane Addams, President Dwight Eisenhower, and Bishop Desmond Tutu, to name a few. In order to achieve world peace, we must build a culture of peace. This includes dealing with the problems that cause conflicts. There can be no peace as long as too many people live in poverty, suffer from inequality, or live without adequate food and health care. We must also protect the natural world we all depend on. As climate change disrupts the environment, our economies will also be affected. Conflicts for resources will intensify. Humankind must learn to resolve conflicts peacefully. If we don't learn to live together, we will surely die together. Next, we will hear several songs from local Native American musician, Liz Jokla.
Hello, all my relatives. My name is Liz Jokla, and I'm from Fond du Lac Reservation, and I'm very grateful to be a part of your celebration of peace. I'm just going to sing a little song on my hand drum, and then I have a couple of tunes with my band, so I hope you enjoy. Yeah. those words mean is I'm looking ahead and I see peace for the people. Anishinaabe means the people. So thanks for having me here today.
Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Everybody stand up, everybody unite. We gotta get together, don't believe their hype. Everybody, everybody, everybody on the floor. We gotta open our hearts and open our doors, just like we done before. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Leave your haters indoors, we don't need that trouble no more. We gotta love our brothers, love our sisters, live together forevermore. Now is the time, we gotta get up. Now is the time, I'm standing, you're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing. Now is the time, we gotta get up. Now is the time, I'm standing, you're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Listen up, my brothers, we got to respect our mother and show her the love like we give to one another. Listen up, my sisters, please beware of the tricksters. Spread the love, only love can declare the victor. Now is the time, now is the time. I'm standing, you're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing. Now is the time, we gotta get up. Now is the time, I'm standing, you're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Stand up, get up, everybody unite. Get right, don't believe the hype. Now is the time, get up, now is the time. I'm standing, you're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing, we're standing. Stand up.
That's pretty good.
An Indian girl. give and I get. History is mystery. I am a part of your circle. I am white girl. My ancestors left me this world. I am an antique on this earth. My children pass through with joyous birth. I write and I tell the wonder of wonders. I am a part of your circle. I am an Asian girl. My ancestors left me this world. I am a mother on this earth. My children pass through with joyous birth. I speak and I sing a philosophy all from me. I am a part of your circle. I am an African girl. My ancestors left me this world. I'm a grandmother on this earth. My children pass through with joyous birth. I dance and I pray. I dance and I pray. I dance and I pray for empirical miracles. I am a part of your circle. I am America's girl. Our ancestors left us this world. I am, I am, I am, I am, I
My name is Fletcher Hines. I'm a Vietnam War veteran and a member of Chapter 80, Veterans for Peace here in Duluth, Minnesota. To build a more peaceful world, people must make it happen. We can't wait for our rulers, politicians, diplomats, and business leaders to act. Citizens have to get involved, take action, promote peace and justice. We must take responsibility for shaping peace together. The next song, We Can Do It, is by Pat Scanlon. It suggests a path for creating good change. It isn't hard or impossible. Peace and justice are built one person at a time. This song is an easy song to catch the melody and sing along. So we invite you to sing along.
We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. Oh, your neighbor over there, a bit bewildered, but he cares. He just doesn't know what to do. Join together and then they'll be two. There are others all around, scattered throughout the town. Reach out and you will see your numbers swell to 3. We can do it, yes we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it, oh yes we can. Now together you form a chord, and you're eager to find some more. You start knocking on other doors, and before long you're up to 4. As your numbers begin to grow, you're expanding what you know. You're a movement when you reach 5, and they'll watch by the FBI. We can do it, yes we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it, oh yes we can. You may ask, what can one do when the problems seem so huge? Start to learn, work my friends. Keep your eyes on the prize to the end. 'Cause the problems can all be solved with dedication and a little resolve. Obstacles slowly dissolve when we all just get involved. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. Before long, you're up to 10, and the process begins again. There is someone in the next town, got the word and is spreading it around. 'Cause an idea, whose time has come, cannot be stopped by anyone. Plant your seeds in fertile ground. There ain't nothing gonna keep it down. Oh, we can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things throughout the land. But we all must lend a hand. We can do it. Oh, yes, we can. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can change things
What a great way to go out. I see Fletcher on the screen, but I'm John Pegg, and I am a lifelong justice and peace activist for many years in Duluth, and recently Lynn and I have become transplanted to the Twin Cities. I don't know, Greta, can you get me on screen or?
Yep, you're on, John.
I am, okay. On my computer, I was only seeing Fletcher Hines. So I'm kind of the cheerleader tonight as we go out. And I want to say that picking up on Pat Scanlon's word, we can all lend a hand in many ways to begin shaping peace together. There are many organizations working on promoting peace, ending poverty, protecting the environment, and building a better, more just world. And they all need us. They need volunteers. They need people power. They need us to, and they need our work and time, and they need our financial support. You can join a group, donate to a group, or simply talk to your friends and family. This year especially, you can vote and encourage in every way possible others to vote. We would invite you to get involved with Sister Cities International, Northland chapter of Grandmothers for Peace, Veterans for Peace, World Beyond War, or one of the many other organizations working for peace, justice, and a better society for everyone. If you have not done so, you may want to begin by signing the Declaration of Peace on World Beyond War's website. This pledge states, I understand that wars and militarism make us less safe rather than protect us, that they kill, injure, and traumatize adults, children, and infants, severely damage the natural environment, erode civil liberties, and drain our economies, siphoning resources from life-affirming activities. I commit to engage in and support nonviolent efforts to end all war and preparations for war, and to create a sustainable and just peace. Please remember to check out the links posted in our chat room to this evening's wonderful program, and also visit our organization's websites. Thank you for attending. It was a great turnout. We hope you enjoyed the music and have been inspired to become more active in shaping peace together. Now we will go out with the song we began with, A Better Place by Playing for Change.
Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you feel it through the music, we can make this world a better place. Freedom and justice is the melody that let us shine on. If you hear it through the music, we can make this world a better place.
Good program. It's very nice.